That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story about your family. I'm so happy that ABA is working. And you're absolutely right. I've talked to numerous channels and people and families during this kind of journey of mine, and a lot of them have had autistic partners or children. And you're absolutely right. It's different for everybody. It presents differently. It affects differently. It shows differently. Development is different. Like, it's so different for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's why I really like highlighting these things, because there is no one blanket statement of like, oh, autistic, so I know what this means. It's like, no, you don't know what this means, because it's
Yeah.
different for every single person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the past year.
Okay.
They're going, they're doing school and things like that. You're a nurse. The pandemic's going on. You work in healthcare. So maybe a little bit of both. What has it been like for your children or family, like doing through the pandemic and school and education and, working with all that? And what has it been like for you personally being a nurse during the pandemic?
COVID is weird.
Yeah.
COVID was weird. COVID honestly flipped this house upside down for a lot of reasons. We lost our schedule, our routine. The kids were doing in-clinic therapy and preschool. So they were in preschool for 3 hours, and then we'd like go have lunch, and then they'd go to therapy for like 4 hours. So they were never home, pretty much. And then we went to being home all day.
Yeah.
And and they don't understand Zoom. As you know, we talked about, I can barely fix the Zoom and figure this out, but they don't understand that there's someone on the screen. That's very difficult for them to, it's hard to connect in that way for a lot of people, but especially children who have that connection disengagement already. So that was less than ideal. My wife actually lost her job during COVID. So I worked 2 jobs during COVID. I did home health, and then I worked my regular hours at the hospital. All of that has changed. My wife is a badass, sorry for the curse word, but she's created her own soccer club and she is thriving, and
cool.
just came through the pandemic bigger and stronger than I've ever seen her before. So that is wonderful. But yeah, for about 8 or 9 months, she was a stay-at-home mom and I worked. And that was kind of our grind until we were able to get back to some normalcy. But I think the schedule for the twins was the biggest thing. And then me being away from them and the guilt of being away from them, but knowing that I was doing it for the right reasons and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But COVID definitely, I'm happy that we're in a place of normalcy, but it definitely impacted me. Even though I work at a pediatric hospital, so it's been marginally different. It affected me more in the amount of suicide attempts and like children struggling is what we saw more of. So it was a very eye-opening, emotionally taxing, on top of, we did have COVID, of course, like it was still a thing, but it was very eye-opening to mental health, which then I tapped into my own mental health, and working several days a week, almost every day of the week, I really had to focus on myself mentally, which really was the best thing, I think, for me. Yeah.
Wow. You're a champion in many, many ways. So I just keep thinking like nothing but like applauding you. That's incredible.
That's so sweet.
Thank you for working in the healthcare field. People that are doctors and nurses and anybody that works in the healthcare field over the past year, I feel like a spotlight has gone on them in a way that it really hasn't before, in a different way. And for a long time, me growing up, it was always like, oh, teachers need to be paid more and firefighters need to pay. And now it's this whole like, I think nurses need to be paid more with everything that they've dealt with. So,
Yeah.
juggling that and the family and, everything that you've gone through is really incredible. So thank you for everything that you've done over the
Thank
past
you
year.
so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do it with much passion. I mean, you can't do this work without loving what you do. It's merely impossible. So
Yeah, for sure.
I really love what I do.
So talking about loving things that you do, let's talk about your Instagram channel. I
Okay.
really like your page. I love the things that you post. I really like it because, in particular, a few posts ago, it was a little like 10 or so posts ago, you posted a picture of like Hunter and posted a picture of Leo, and then in the description you talked about all the different characteristics about them, who they are, their personalities, and why they're different but why they're similar and things like that. So I love the things that you post on your page. I view that as kind of a window into a family that juggles a bunch of different things and lives life differently the way that many of us live. So talk to me a little bit about your Instagram page, the evolution of the page, and just kind of what's going on with that.
Sure. It never really was a thing for me. It was like my life. I
Yeah.
posted, and especially when we moved, it was more so to like keep family feeling like they were engaged and involved
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the kids. Um, but it kind of I use it like I want to share my story. I want to share their story. They're unique, and I feel like we're in a very unique situation with them. I have a boy that I have an autistic boy and I have an autistic girl, and they're very different, and they're twins, and like our life is
Yeah.
so crazy but like so fun and diverse and
Yeah.
different. And I want to share that, and I try to share it in a like I never want to I talk about the challenges and the difficulties, but I never want to put that spotlight on them.
Yeah.
So we kind of as a couple have like we're down to share, but we've always kind of felt like I want to share what they can do and what they are
Yes.
doing and how their strengths. Like I never want to exploit their
Yeah.
weaknesses. So we just try to make it super positive. And some people are like, oh my gosh, it looks like your life is so perfect. And I'm like, no, 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 no.
No. No.
No, no, no. We struggle. We have tantrums. We
Yeah.
have meltdowns. We struggle with expressing emotion. Like, I mean, sorry, the piano is so loud. I'm getting distracted. But
I love
I
piano, so
just
it's all good.
I want them to, I don't ever want them to look back and not see that I'm so
Yeah.
proud of them, and I'm so happy to be their mom, and I'm so grateful and so blessed. And that is what I want to share, that they're just like everybody else. They need time and they need patience. And if you can give them that, then man, they'll give you the world. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it
I
just kind of evolved from wanting to share them with the world, and who,
Yeah.
and like I have come across other accounts that I've like, oh, I'm not alone in this, we're kind of the same, like we're kind
Yes.
of doing the same thing. Or someone that has said, oh, you're doing so great, like I can't, like, just, and I've gotten lots of words of encouragement, and it's just been really nice. It's been lovely just to have that shared space with other moms
Yeah.
and dads and parents doing what I'm doing, living life.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I think you touched on so many things that I love about your channel in particular. Once again, links and everything will be below to your channel and all of that. But I don't feel like you're highlighting a nurse's life or a mother of an autistic children's life. Like you're just highlighting your life, period. And everybody's is different and everybody has a different story to tell. And it's not just that, like, I love the pictures you post with your wife. You two just look so happy and in love with each other, which is amazing. But it's what's interesting is I just did an interview with the Autism Cafe, which we talked about a little bit before this, Eileen Lamb, and she touched on a lot of that and said, yeah, a lot of people will reach out and say, oh, wow, everything just looks so great. And she's like, no, that's not how it is. Like, things are difficult and
Oh,
complicated and stressful. And we need to highlight both things. We need to be open to talking about both sides of the coin. So
yeah,
I appreciate you being willing to do that and share your story kind of with the world. So
of course.
um, yeah, so let's talk about kind of last thing leading into something fun in the end that my viewers know that I like to do. What does a typical day look like for you now that pandemic is winding down, at
Mhm.
least from what it was? Is the typical day looking more like what it was pre-pandemic, or has everything completely changed and your typical day is now different than what it was?
I'd say it's pretty close to normal.
Okay.
We go to in-person school, so we wake up every morning. We're big breakfast people in this house. My daughter likes to make eggs, and she's very she likes to act all sorts of things out. She likes to help make breakfast. So we make breakfast, we go to school. They're there for 3 hours, and then we pick them up and come home. And then they have like an hour window where they do ABA therapy in the evenings, but it's at home now. So they have
Okay.
therapists that come into the house, which is kind of nice because then I feel like I'm not away from them for forever.
Yeah.
I feel like they were always
Yeah.
gone, and I was like, oh, they're so little. But now they come into the house and we do ABA therapy from like 12 to 6. And then I just kind of, I'm there, I watch, I learn so that I can implement those therapies all the time. So it's kind of nice to have it in the house because I get a little
Yeah.
more detailed insight into what they're doing so that I can carry those through on the days or when we're out and about doing things to kind of make it not just a in-home like thing that we do it everywhere. So yeah, that's really, I mean, the days that I work, my wife is obviously home working on the computer and doing her thing. And then when I'm not working, I'm here.
Feels good to get back to a little bit of sense of normalcy,
Yeah,
right?
a little bit of normalcy.
Feels pretty good. Well, I'm so grateful and thankful that you took the time to share kind of your story and your background and your journey with us. And I want to end it on kind of a fun note. So let's do a
Okay.
rapid fire Q&A if you're up for it.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, awesome. It's like I'm ready. Take the swig of the coffee,
Yep, I'm
and now
ready.
I'm ready. Okay, so first question. What is your favorite thing about living in Colorado?
The snow, but the sun comes out after it snows and then the snow goes away.
Ah, so it's like you get the beautiful snow and then
Yeah,
it's gone.
and then it's gone.
Nice. What is your dream vacation?
Oh, in a couple of years, we're gonna go to Fiji.
Nice.
Yeah,
Love
10th
that.
year anniversary. We're gonna
Nice.
go. It's all about the Women's World Cup, though. We're really going because the Women's World Cup is on Australia, but Fiji's on the way. So
Very cool. I love that.
that's fun.
Everything I know about Fiji, I learned from the movie The Truman Show, because that's where he talks about wanting to go is to Fiji. So that's really
It's
cool.
like a bungalow. I want a bungalow house.
I love that you have
I
this
can
whole
dream big,
idea.
right? I
You're like,
do.
I know
I
what I
have an
want.
idea.
I know what I want. I want a bungalow.
I haven't been thinking about it or anything.
Yeah, no time at all. What is your favorite late night snack?
Oh, chocolate.
Are you a milk chocolate, dark chocolate? What kind of
Needs
chocolate?
almonds in it.
Yes, I have chocolate covered almonds like
Yep.
right now that I love to
So
snack
like a
on.
milk chocolate, like a milk chocolate with
Mm,
almonds.
so
It's great.
good.
Yeah.
Great choice. What makes you smile?
Hmm. Just my life. Just being where I'm at right now. Honestly,
I love
just
that. That's
everything that we've been through to get to where we are right now is great.
what a phenomenal answer. I love that. When life in general can make you smile, you're doing something right. So that's awesome. What is your favorite weekend activity?
Mm. Happy hour.
Happy hour. Yes.
Happy hour.
Gotta have a happy hour, right?
Yeah.
And then last question, what advice would you give your younger self?
Ooh. I would just say that where you're at right now will change. All of your struggles are for something better. And what my mom always says, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And you got to cowgirl up. You got to get to that point. You got to get through it. Everything that you go through makes you stronger. And I mean, I'm very much so proof of that. I mean, I didn't have my LGBTQ member self of me was very supported, but I struggled a lot with some mental stuff. And, what doesn't, and I don't want to say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, because that's not very appropriate in this situation. But life is beautiful, and you just have to get to that place. High school happens and then it's over, but like your life is forever, and you will find greatness within it. You just have to be patient.
I love that. Thank you so much. I have found that is my favorite question to ask people during my interviews, because the answers that they give come from a place of such good and so much heart and love and kindness and generosity, but also acknowledging the hard things, struggle. Things are tough, but you just got to keep going. So thank
Yeah,
you so much.
I think the best thing that you can say is you're allowed to be, and I actually got this from Peloton. It's been my lifesaver from 2021 was
Nice.
working out. You're
Yeah,
allowed to be, and I'll say Jess Sims said it, you're allowed to be a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. So you don't
that's
have to be
awesome.
perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, somebody said the other day, just really simply, and I posted it on my Instagram. I think it was last night. Uh, Life is hard. You're not alone.
Yeah,
It's
no,
okay to acknowledge that things are hard and tough, and you're
yeah.
gonna get beat down a lot. But like, you
Mhm.
just keep going, and you'll find amazing things like an amazing partner and beautiful children and a happy life in Colorado. You can
Yeah,
find those things. So
never thought I would be here, but here I am, and it was well worth the wait.
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Callie, for joining. I really appreciate it. Just kind of wrapping everything up. Anything that you have going on right now, or any projects coming up in the future, anything like that that you want to share or talk about?
I don't really have any I'm new to the social media
Yeah.
stuff, but only thing new for me is I'm gonna go back to school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm
What
gonna
are you
go
going
back
back to?
to school because of what we talked about earlier. I'm gonna go back to school to be a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. So
That's awesome.
hopefully,
Cheers to you.
here's
Cheers
to
to you.
me.
That's
Hopefully
amazing.
it'll be a few years, but I can't wait. I'm excited.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Another just step on the journey.
Mhm.
Well, like I said, I can't thank you enough. This has been an amazing conversation. I'm going to be following your channel. And like I said, for everybody out there, I'll put all the links in description below. If this is your first time joining me, thank you so much. If you're a returner, thanks for coming back. And regardless of where you're coming from, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and I will see you in the next video.